Hey everyone, Joe here from ActionX. Welcome to What's on the Tube, or welcome back if this is your fifth Doom Patrol Season 2 episode review. Hope you're all doing well. Hope you're all being safe, being good to each other, all that sort of stuff. Sorry if I sound very tired. I'm about to begin, I think, one of the longest work weeks ever, and it's already felt like a long time because, if you're unaware, my current job, well, no, I never talked about my job. Maybe one day. Well, actually, I can't talk about my job because I signed a non-disclosure agreement that I can't talk about it. Well, I don't. It's weird. I won't talk about it. I can say generally, but I can't say like where I exactly work. So right now we're in vacation mode. Even with COVID, the pandemic, being unable to do proper vacations, people are still taking vacations off of my job, and I'm being filled in on their shifts and means more hours, and I had a very long stretch, a bit of a loophole, so to speak, in the whole thing. So I'm working a very long. I think I'm now officially halfway done with the work week that I am working. That's a lot for me to handle. So if I sound tired between, well, just these next two What's on the Tubes I'm doing, I apologize. But with that being said, enough about my private life. Let's get to the. Oh my God! Like I talked about last night when I was doing the last Doom Patrol review, that episode was like hands down the best episode ever. This episode, while I don't think it was better than the last episode, it came fairly close. The moment, that parody of an 80s cop show paired with a potential spin-off idea, I'm like, hands down, this is the best moment in the whole show. Hands down, DC, make this happen, I can't stress enough how much I want that to happen. I'll explain more why in a bit, but anyway, I really enjoyed this episode. I don't think it was quite, it was like very close, it's like a very close margin, but I prefer the last episode over this one. But so with that being said, let's get down to it. I want to talk about that moment specifically, so let's get through the Butcher recap so we can get to that point. So we begin with Vic with some sandwiches for some weird reason. Apparently he's back in the deli. We saw him a couple of episodes ago with the girl that he was hopefully going to pursue a relationship with. That also, he found that by some of her shady stuff from her past. But I got confused, like, so wait, they made up already? Like, I mean, didn't Vic promise that he was going to stay at the manor and he's already out and about? I mean, okay. But, however, no, it turns out to be a dream because the woman turns out to have an arm, a robot laser arm, and then Vic as well, and they're about to cause mayhem and destruction together. So, turns out it was all a dream or a nightmare, and the only reason why Vic sees the end of it because Cliff wakes him up. Apparently, Cliff lost the tape that he had when episode 2 began. There was the interview scene between Cliff and Niles. So Cliff had that on record, like as evidence or proof that Niles fucked up badly, but he can't find it. It just disappeared. So he's looking for that all over the house. And then I believe we also come back to the interview room where supposedly Niles is resuming his sessions with Jane. And yes, Jane herself is back in control. I forgot to admit that last week because last time. So Jane's already back in control of her body. I guess the personas didn't want to deal with the outside world any longer. They rather do the rotation cycle. So it seemed like Jane is not really like down to do this interview thing again, or at least to Niles said like, oh, let's start fresh. Let's start again, but like old times. But Jane said, nah, we can't go back to old times. It's gone. Understandable. And then after that, we see Jane turn into Baby Doll. Well, the persona changed to Baby Doll. And it's like a complete 180. It's like, again, like the Baby Doll persona took over. She's yelling. She's sad. She goes to Niles. And honestly, the scene where Niles is holding Baby Doll is like a little bit creepy, to be honest with you. Because I understand it's the persona, not really Jane. And Niles is only just trying to take care of the persona. But I don't know. Sorry about that. That didn't seem very. I don't know. That didn't really sit well with me. However, Niles has found a solution to the problem since he wants Baby Doll to be happy whatsoever, and Niles is of course getting old, so he doesn't have the energy as he used to. But he has another kid in the house. That's right. He's basically pawning off Baby Doll to Dorothy. And at first it was sweet, you know, the two are making friends. You know, they're about the same age, even though one's a persona, the other one's over 100 years old. But who cares? They're having fun. They're joking around. They're best friends. Everything's all right in the world. However, it doesn't turn well, because as soon as they hit outside, Dorothy's kind of tired, she wants to rest, you know, that sort of thing, but Baby Doll's like, you know, always full of energy, she doesn't want to stop. And meanwhile, of course, also, apparently I forgot, I think I finally heard the name of, like, I decided, like, the name of the villain, I had to look him up, it's Candlemaker, so, very weird name. Is he in the DC Comics? I don't know, he probably is. Again, I don't know anything. So Dorothy's talking to him, and Baby Doll overhears the conversation, but Dorothy manages to, like, kind of write that off as like, oh, I was just talking to one of my imaginary friends. And Dorothy, because she's friendly with Baby Doll, she actually manifests one of her imaginary friends, the big wolf-looking thing. And then for some reason, well, I think it was another persona change. That one of the personas kills that. I think his name was Manny. And Dorothy obviously is upset because, you know, that's a big no-no, and she runs away and doesn't want to play with Baby Doll anymore. But we'll get back to them in a moment. Meanwhile, I just want to get to that thing. So, also, another thing, Rita's trying to get back to acting for some reason. I guess she was kind of, like, hungry to, like, do something for herself again, and, you know, being an actress again is kind of the thing she could do right now. So she auditions at a Home Depot adjacent location, I guess, where one of the employees turns out to be the writer-director of this play that's coming up nearby in a community theater. And while Rita tries to audition, she fails, as, of course, it's been a long time since, you know, she's actually, you know, done anything of the sort. So she doesn't get the part there. So she comes home, she comes back home defeated. She sees... damn, I forgot his name already. Larry on the phone, so she's assuming, oh, you know, order takeout, like, can I get a menu? It's like, hold up. This is the one thing, I always ask this question in every show that they don't explicitly state why or how. How do they get their money? Like, I'm pretty sure they explained this somewhere in season 1. I'm pretty sure Niles has some money saved up somewhere. But how do they pay for this? Like, who's, like... Because here's the thing, like, I'm sorry, we're going on a tangent here. Like, if I was a part of the Doom Patrol and I was still myself, of course, obviously, I want to get a job. I need my own money. I need to buy my own things. I would not want to go to Niles every single time and ask him, yo, can I get $60 for a video game? Can I, like, get this? I don't want to do that. I don't want to do that. So where does Niles get the money from? How do they have this, like, massive fortune, or at least a small fortune? I don't know. I'm just curious. But, no, it turns out Larry's on the phone to await the call from his son, which confused me for like a good minute. It's like, did I miscommunicate what I said in episode 2 in that review? Because didn't his son die? But no, he had another son that I may have forgotten about from the first season. I probably did. It's been forever since I watched the first season. And so when I got to that scene, it's like, wait, did I miscommunicate? Did I not pay attention as deeply as I thought I did? But no, it turns out, no, he had another son. They reconnected during the funeral scene back in episode 2. And the family's basically ready to move on from the other son who did pass away. They want to pack up his stuff. They want to sell some of his other stuff and throw away some stuff to kind of just move on from their life, kind of get closure on that chapter of their lives. So Larry decides to bring Rita along, but we'll come back to them back later, because I really want to get through this Cliff and Vic stuff, because I want to get to that damn freaking moment. Let's go. So Cliff, while looking for the tape, he stumbles upon the lab and sees these blueprints, or at least these rough sketches of like potential Robot Man version 2 designs, and he gets a little bit excited that like, you can probably touch things now, and then you could probably look a little bit more humanoid than what you would do before. But Niles does temper his expectations and saying that this is all stuff, ideas that need to happen before I get to the big idea, before I get to that thing. You probably have to wait years or even decades before anything of that happens. And of course, obviously, with Niles' biological clock ticking, it's not looking so likely. But then Cliff remembers that Vic has, you know, some sensibility, some sense of feel in his, like, even with his robotics, like, so it is possible but not for, you know, Niles at the moment. It's for probably for Cyborg's dad. So they go to pay him a visit, and he's not down for it. Like, he's not down. And also, I completely forgot he's played by Philip Lamar. I think that's the actor's name. Because I was watching Smallville. I'm still watching Smallville on Hulu, which I will hopefully be doing a What's in the Tube at some point once we wrap up this, like, run of shows. Like, I'm planning, like, spoilers, like, after after this current wave of shows reviews are over, I'm going to stick to some one-offs for a while to kind of, like, figure out what I'm going to do after that. But anyway, I'll talk more about that at the end. But he denies Cliff's request to kind of give him that ability that he gave Vic. So instead of going back home immediately and defeated, turns out Cyborg has a different thing on his agenda. He wants to go make up with the woman that he kind of like stood up, or technically she stood him up. But I don't know. But yeah. So he's there to kind of like woo her back over. And at first, it was kind of like the conversation was kind of steering towards like Vic was kind of describing the area, like trying to maybe make an excuse on why they're there. He said like, "Oh, I used to do patrols in this area. Like I used to like be a superhero in training at this part of town." And then Cliff's like, "Oh my god, I have the perfect idea. Well, I have all this anger in me. I want to take it out on someone. Let's be a crime fighting duo, Steel and Stone," which is like, it makes sense. It's perfect, and it's like, obviously, if Doom Patrol somehow gets canceled, like, do a Steel and Stone spinoff. Like, it works. Brendan Fraser, and I don't want to butcher his name. The actor who plays Cyborg, I think his name is Joy Van Wade, I think. I'm sorry if I butchered it, I'm sorry. Like, let them lead a spinoff. Come on, let's do it. So, anyway, Cliff kind of disregards Cyborg's original plan for makeup and gives him, like, here's what you gotta say, because here's the thing, like, back when I was a human, even though to my size and stature, I could still get girls, as well as I could also make them forgive me. This is what you need to say and do, which Vic does, and somehow it works. I should really try that from now on. Maybe Vic is maybe Cliff's onto something. Who knows? So while Vic is having another bang session with his now on again girlfriend, we get to like this weird 80s style filter. It's like, wait, where the frack are we? Like, are we watching a TV show or something? Is this like a segue to the Dorothy part of the episode? But no, it turns out this is Cliff and Steel. Steel and Stone, the show. And oh my god, this intro was like, hands down, the best moment in the show. Hands freaking down. Like, first of all, Steel and Stone sounds like a crime, a cop, like a detective duo or a cop duo back from the 80s. It sounds perfect. It just sounds, it works, and the intro was so well made. And even they put Timothy Dalton in there as a cameo as the chief. It's like, this is too perfect. This is, oh my god, I can't giddy enough about this. Like, I can guess, like, when they were shooting this segment of the show, they have to have had the most fun possible, because, like, this is just off the rails here. I would totally watch a spinoff with these characters. Like, I think this deserves, like, a limited, like, 2-episode order, just for, like, shits and giggles. And let's just make it a movie. Why not? Let's just do the Steel and Stone movie. Let's go. Let's do that. So, yeah, it turns out to be an imagination, figmentation, in Cliff's head. Even he's singing the theme song, and meanwhile, in real life, he actually sees a couple of carjackers literally right next to him. So he decided, fuck it, I'm going to be a crime fighter now. And he punches one guy out of the way, but for some reason he couldn't punch the second guy. And the second guy was about to get away, but Cliff manages to regain control of his arm at the last minute. But he slams the finger on the car door, like, at the last second. And I was like, oh my god. Yeez. And the guy was bleeding all over the car. Like, Cliff, you should stick to just yelling and punching random things. Don't try and get the crime fighting. Just don't, man. Is my tea cold enough yet? It's not cold. It's still hot. Yeah. So and also Vic and so after that, Vic and the woman, after they have another sexual trizon, they're trying to figure out, like, where things are gonna go now, considering the fact they're back in each other's lives, and she's being a little bit more honest with him that, you know, she also had some enhancements made by another organization after she left service. However, she kind of, like, things went wrong, and they took those abilities away from her. So she's been through a lot in her career, and so this might be the perfect woman for Vic, if I'm being honest with everyone. I don't think we got any more from them. So back to Niles Larry reconnecting to his family. We cut back to the same farmhouse we saw back in episode 2, and we get to see the whole Larry's whole family since he left. We see his other son, and that guy's son. So Larry's a great grandfather. So yeah, that's crazy. That's really crazy. It seems to all be like, this just seems way too nice. Like, here comes this random guy with bandages claiming he is the grandfather, the father. Like, this guy who left the family years ago, who's suddenly back alive. This was a little bit too open. Like, this was really too, like, nice. Because usually if this was to happen to me, for example, I would not immediately accept them. I would take some time to vet them out and see, like, are they speaking the truth? Are they actually who they say they are? That's at least what I would do. But then when it came to its iteration, it was a little bit too nice, to be honest with you. Even we had some moments of tension between Larry and his son over the matter. Rita trying to, like, make conversation with the other two, and just being awkward. And also Rita gets the job either way, because one of the actresses is gone. But then that night, Larry has a heart-to-heart with his son about the truth that you know, he was gay, that, you know, he had a lover on his flight team, and that he wished he would have told his wife before everything happened, but, you know, he couldn't at the time, and it kind of haunted him to this day still. And the son kind of admitted to him that there were some conspiracy theories around him, apparently, as well as there was one guy that his mom dated, well, Larry's wife / the guy's mom dated, that was kind of a loony bin, who had all these different theories that, like, oh no, Larry's still alive, it's just a big government cover-up. And then all of a sudden the government just shows up. Apparently Larry's son ratted him out, and everyone just kind of converges onto the scene, and at first it's like, yeah, this isn't going to end well. This is not going to end well. So Larry releases his spirit. They took down all the men, but it turns out some of the men shot bullets while Rita protected the great-grandson. She couldn't protect the grandson. The grandson got shot. And presumably he's going to die. And, you know, we see Larry's family all together huddled around him. Like, they're about to deal with another goddamn tragedy. And they call him a curse and whatsoever. But to be completely honest, I mean, he called the government, so I'm going to have to call some fault on the son here, on Larry's son here. I think he deserves more of the fault than what he's claiming not to get. But then the negative spirit takes Larry and Rita presumably back to the house to kind of get away from the whole situation. So yeah, Cliff and Larry not doing the best with their whole family reconnection. They're not doing the best on that front. So back at the manor. So after Dorothy was kind of burned by Baby Doll, and Jane seemingly took back control while she and Niles were making a sandwich, Dorothy shows up, and then the Baby Doll persona returns. And then later that night, she kind of holds Dorothy's dolls hostage in a way, and kind of was telling her, like, hey, listen, Niles is not a good man. He's evil. Like, he's done some crazy stuff to everyone in this house. Dorothy being obviously the daughter, she doesn't want to believe that. And she goes forward and, you know, attempts to, like, get some payback on her by doing some hide and seek and, you know, getting away from them. And she drags her down to the furnace room where she scares her. Like, Dorothy manages to scare her quite a bit, but then Baby Doll just suddenly said, you know what, screw you. I'm going to lock you into a furnace and burn you up. And Dorothy obviously was scared as hell, but then, you know, the candle maker doing her usual thing. It finally was enough for Dorothy to, like, finally make another wish. And her wish was to kill Baby Doll and the other persona that I presume killed her imaginary friend. So somehow the guy, the candle maker, goes into Jane's body, the underground, and kills two of her personas. Which is like, fuck. This guy is serious. He can actually travel to their minds. That's how crazy this thing is. And then Jane just witnesses, like, the death of two of her personas in front of her. And that's kind of where we end the episode. And hopefully my tea is ready enough. I don't know how long it's been, but fuck it. I'm thirsty. Oh god, I love that tea so much. It's orange and honeydew. It's so freaking good. But yeah, I really liked this episode. I really digged it. I didn't think it was as on par with last week, but, like, it's just, I got a very small margin. It's not that big of a difference. But the Steel and Stone moment, obviously, hands down the best moment of the show. Let's go. We need that spinoff. This needs to happen. Thank you to the team at Doom Patrol for pitching the spinoff, and hopefully one day it'll be made. This needs to happen now. I'm like, whenever San Diego Comic-Con comes back and we get another Doom Patrol panel, like, this has to be the opener. We gotta see a sample of a Steel and Stone episode. That has to happen. I want to see that. But yeah, I again, Doom Patrol manages to impress with, you know, balancing the silliness that was the Steel and Stone opening with the seriousness of Dorothy's powers and how dangerous they can be. And also, yeah, and you know, I again feeling really sorry for Larry, and like the man just can't catch a break. He couldn't have amends with one of his sons. He got captured and nearly killed by the Red Jack, and now his own family turned against him. Like, he's not having the best time of his life. He really isn't. And I think that's all I have to say. So in all, I give this episode 2 thumbs up. And I think that's going to do it for me because for some reason it's 95 today in New York City and I'm burning hot. I'm holding back in the sweat through willpower so you can't see it. So anyway, if you want to know where this was What's on the Tube from ActionX, if you want to see more of What's on the Tube and specifically what we do overall What's on the Tube besides our Doom Patrol reviews, we do DC Stargirl episode reviews each and every Friday after a brand new episode on Monday on DC Universe, the streaming service, as well as on Tuesdays nights on the CW. But you can catch it all for free on Wednesdays on the CW and the CW app, so you have no other excuse. We also do Perry Mason episode reviews each and every Monday after a brand new episode on HBO on Sunday nights. But if you don't care about our Doom Patrol episode reviews, then you're in luck. We'll be back next weekend for the next run of episode reviews, because so this weekend we got Saturday, hopefully, the episode 6 review, and then the new episode 7 review. So after that, we'll all be caught up for only 2 weeks. And after that, after episode 9, we're done for the season. Then we'll go for our usual conclusion of this run sort of thing. You already know the rest. You know, season review, season 3 predictions, that sort of thing. Yeah, so, but anyway, we'll be back next weekend for the next round of reviews, so hopefully you guys will stick around till then. But until then, again, this was What's on the Tube from ActionX. If you want to see more of What's on the Tube, specifically our Doom Patrol Season 2 episode reviews, you can subscribe to us on YouTube.com. Ring the bell for notifications when the next episode review is live, as well as like, favorite, share if you want to. You don't have to, but it does really help us out in the long run, guys. It really does. And also follow us on social media to be up to date on new videos, any updates, all that stuff. I'll see you, Fan Patrol, next week. Well, this weekend. Timing's really off. Hope be good to each other, stay safe, and peace out.